don't have a cat that would scratch my hand in all pieces.
Ready, Chair.
Okay, I will call the meeting to order and begin with the land acknowledgement. On Tuesday, November 18th, 2025, we acknowledge that this sacred land on which Smiths Falls is now located has been a site of human activity for over 10,000 years and is rich in Indigenous history. This land is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation. We are grateful to the Algonquin ancestors who cared for the land and water in order that we might meet here today. We are also grateful to the Algonquin people for their contribution in the making of the Rideau Canal, which runs through Smiths Falls. We are mindful of broken covenants and the need to reconcile with all our relations. Together, may we care for this land and each other, drawing on the strength of our mutual history of nation building through peace and friendship, being mindful of generations to come. Okay, first we'll approve the agenda. Would someone, okay, class, and the seconder, Jenny, thank you. All in favor? Great. I will inform the committee that Victoria Maiden, Tory, has resigned from the committee. She had too many commitments. And so she's no longer a member. Next is adoption of the minutes from Tuesday, October the 7th, which you have in your package there. Someone move that we adopt the minutes? Jonathan and Chris seconds. All in favor? Thank you. Passed. Disclosure of monetary interest, anybody? No, let's go right ahead then with the priority issues. The first one is the Heritage Conservation District, I presume the plan.
Yes.
We're talking about the plan today, which we received in draft form a couple of meetings ago, made comments, which then went back to Stantec, and they provided an updated draft, which came out to us last week, I believe, which Marie emailed out. So where are we now? What stage are we at in this whole process? Marie?
So comments are due back on this draft to Carl, to Manager Grenke, excuse me, tomorrow. And then he'll be taking a report, an issues and options report, to November 24th council meeting.
Will it still be in draft?
I'll still draft at that point, getting direction from council in terms of direction on certain points of the draft.
And when did you say that meeting was?
November 24th. Okay. So your comments are, that's why it's due, yeah. Comments are due tomorrow to Carl.
Okay, does anybody wish to comment or speak to the revised draft? Jonathan?
Yeah, I guess I'll start. So, I guess the first thing I'm curious about what the final look of this is going to be for the end user. This is it's a pretty big document. It's a big, like 70 pages, another 10 of appendix. At the recommendation of one of the folks that were at our Heritage Symposium there from the province, he gave me a couple examples of other Heritage Conservation District plans to look at. So I'm looking at Perth's, I'm looking at Almont, and I'm looking at Guelph. So in terms of size, we're very similar to some of the more modern plans like Almont and Guelph. Perth is only a quick 30 pages, so it's very consumable. Also looking at a stewardship guide to downtown Perth Heritage Conservation. So I think that's it. It's the Heritage Conservation District doc. So it's interesting that one's so short, but I think it's because it's maybe quite a bit earlier. But I'm looking at how somebody would approach the document. what the formatting looks like. And so that we've been looking really closely at all the text, and there's a lot of other stakeholders doing that right now. And I think some other folks here might talk about some of that close stuff, but I'm really curious about what the format's going to be, what the illustrations are going to be like, the accompanying drawings, and how it'll feel when someone picks it up as a document. Looking at these other three, they're pretty inviting. And I'm curious about what the final draft is going to look like for us. And so I hope that that's clear for council, because it's not clear to me about this one. We have had a couple versions, so I just don't know where this one's at. So it's hard to tell if I could recommend this, or in what capacity I would recommend this iteration to council.
Chris?
Do we know what kind of direction Carl's looking to get from council on the 24th?
I think just some comments that have come in. He's looking for direction on some of those. I don't know what they are specifically.
I guess depending what those are, I might have strong opinions, I might have no opinion.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to comment? Is the expectation that we make a motion on this today, or
Wouldn't think so.
you don't think we should, Dawn?
No, not just, I don't think we need a motion on this just yet. Do we, Marie? No.
Well, it depends on what the, sorry through you, Chair, what the comments are going to be. So there are additional comments, so I will pass those forward to Carl and to Stantec.
Okay.
So I have Jonathan's listed here, and if there are more, then, by 9 o'clock tomorrow, we'll take those. So I would think that we would know after that.
Okay, so perhaps at our next meeting then, which isn't very far away, because this one's late in the month.
I can send an email around and let you know.
So if we did pass this motion tonight, it would go to council? When?
No, I think what Carl's looking for is direction on the draft report from council. But I think the problem that we're in right now is that we probably, as a committee, have an opinion on what he's looking for direction on, but we don't know what he's looking for direction on to give an opinion. So it's this kind of chicken and the egg situation. But by November 24th, there's not much, I guess if we could see the report as it comes, or if we had an idea of what the sections he was looking for feedback from council on was, and then he could say, okay, well, the municipal heritage committee thinks this, looking for council's opinion on that.
Just I find this is
Has
moving slow.
council received the draft?
No,
So they're going to receive the draft for the 24th, for that meeting. Okay,
We hope so.
yeah.
There's been a lot of work done on adjusting language. Like that's the huge amount that was done in here. And so all of that, like whatever feedback came from here and from other folks, it seems
It's
like
been incorporated.
it's been a whole bunch of language stuff. So well, it's
Okay.
here and there. I don't know what the other comments look like, but there's definitely a lot of changes. So that's good. That's good. That's cool.
Mhm.
It'd be good if we wanted to discuss that, but I don't know if that's it. And then it's just being into something else, or I don't really know what we're doing.
yeah, without Carl's input, it's kind of.
Okay, well, I guess we won't do anything
Doesn't appear to be.
then. No.
Watch for the report on Thursday, and hopefully it doesn't.
Right.
That report will be sent to us then?
There's a report to council, right?
Yeah, it'll be published. I would hope.
By
Yeah,
Thursday, Friday.
yeah.
That's when the packages go out. I'll follow up with Carl and let him know what some of your concerns are, and that without seeing the report going to council on 24th, you'd prefer to see everything in its final format.
I mean, like we could say that we've been looking at it for a while, and we think that it's well on its way. If that's all he's looking for from us, like we've been batting it around for a while. If they just want to know that we've been doing that, but do you speak about us there anyway, or you do?
Somebody does.
Yeah,
You must. There's three
they're
of
not
you.
sure if they want to.
How's that work?
Well, like it's useful if there's something that's contentious and, you know, once the group or some aspects is against something or for something and the committee's got a alternate opinion on it, then it's useful, like, with, you know, there's been examples in the past of, what would one be done, like trying to think what the last thing that came would have been that we had, maybe a CIP would be a good example, where there's CIP applications that don't meet the design criteria and the objectives that the committee's been working towards for preserving heritage attributes. And then it's got more weight to say, oh, you know, the committee feels this way than just a single person.
Yeah, I guess it really has to do with what's being presented to council and what are we offering ourselves into. So like for them to consider, for them
Right.
to whatever.
I assume this is not, you wouldn't consider this contentious, that it's not really, is it?
Well, it depends what sections, because there was a lot of mays and coulds and
Which a lot of those have changed.
in my opinion, I thought should be more black and white, and I'm not sure, without knowing what Carl's looking for direction for, it's hard to know whether it's contentious or not. But if it is contentious, she'll definitely hear from me over the weekend.
Okay,
And
all right.
at the very least, we could do an email, you know, if people agree or don't agree,
Jenny,
you know, we could use that.
you want to comment?
I'm just for process, like, was there a plan for Manager Granke to bring it back to us? Or were we supposed to comment and then it go to council and council has, like, was it going to come back to
So
us? Is that
he's looking for, Carl is, sorry, Chair, excuse me. He is looking for comments. So we're looking for, was going to be the second and final adjustments to the draft. So the comments now go back to Stantec tomorrow. Carl would incorporate best he can into his report. He was hoping to have some sort of resolution from the committee, but if that's not feasible right now, then we'll wait and see.
And that's the linchpin, is what is the resolution he was hoping to achieve from us?
Chris?
I guess just without having a mock-up of his report or something to review, there's really nothing for us to debate or to move or motion on, and I wouldn't be comfortable recommending it passed as is because I've got comments on it as it is now. So the whole point of us putting our comments in by 9 a.m. tomorrow, but then passing something before we've even had our comment, you know what I mean? It's just this kind of, it's not the best order of it. So personally, I don't know that there's much we can do right now.
All right. But hopefully it will, you know, continue to move along through the proper process. And wasn't the original idea that by the end of this calendar year that it
We'll be
would,
done with it.
the council would have had it and, you know, made a decision? I do believe that was,
We talked about that in the meeting, yes.
yeah.
And that's
So-
why I said this process is moving slow.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we aren't really clear on it, so Marie?
So just for clarification, you're going to send your comments into Carl tomorrow. His report will come out, and then we'll bring this forward again on December 9th, the December 9th meeting,
Yes.
for discussion of whatever the final draft was.
And then, yeah,
And at that point,
we will,
should be able to make a decision.
we'll be ready at that point
Okay, thank you.
to make a resolution, I would think, right?
Maybe even earlier, based on what we
Yes,
learned.
but we wouldn't have a meeting before,
Suppose not.
no, unless we had a special meeting.
Right.
Okay, let's move ahead then to the CIP update. I guess that's you, Marie.
Yeah. So, I'm very excited to talk about some of the amendments to the CIP, unless Councillor McGuire, Councillor Quinn would like to talk about the amendments that have been proposed that are heritage related. So the CIP amendments were proposing to add in another category for residential heritage for funding approval up to 10,050% for residential heritage improvements. We're also looking to, for accessibility, have lifts. Right now it's for ramps and widening doorways for exterior accessibility. So we're looking to add in lifts allowed at the entrances as well. And if accessibility can't be addressed at the primary entrance, we're also asking if it can be addressed at a secondary entrance. Because sometimes on the primary entrance, you know, there's encroachment issues and it just won't work. So we're asking that consideration be given to secondary entrances for that. Increasing the funding thresholds under program 13, which is front side and rear facade improvements from, for heritage, it's 85%, that'll be maintained, going from 17,000 to 34,000. And creating another heritage category for larger scale projects. We still have to flesh out what that will mean, but it's for projects that are of the same kind of category as the Rideau Hotel or the post office. And the working committee, we've suggested that the working committee composition be changed to include the chair of the Heritage Committee or a designate for heritage. That's it. Thought those were pretty grand.
Going back to the first item you mentioned,
Yes.
residential heritage.
Yes.
Anywhere in town?
Yes, anywhere in the municipality as long as it's a designated property.
Okay, designated.
Right.
Maybe that would be.
Under part 4 or 5.
Right. So either in the HCD or okay.
Correct.
Good.
As
And
long
that's-
as it's formally designated.
And that's for improvements,
Right.
exterior?
Exterior improvements.
Exterior, okay. Jonathan?
So it's a really cool list. That's the kind of list that I've been kind of like looking for a while, especially at the Heritage Conference when we had all those homeowners sitting in front of us. I wonder if we could get that sort of like bulleted list just in a draft form for our internal reference.
Mhm.
You just rhymed off there. That as a little one pager, that'd be cool, or just part of a page. I saw that you were looking at that big plan. I don't really want that big plan, so, so I like the work that you've done there. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then to that end, I think it connects to the third item here, where if those items are approved and that's going into the community improvement plan, I think if we had even a nice published mock-up of that, just as an idea moving forward, we have that wonderful email list of folks that were all engaged in residential real estate that we just spoke with. And I'm no marketing major, but from what I understand, following up after you've done something is a really excellent idea. So if we had a nice little combination, sent that out to those folks, it would show exactly what we're talking about, that the Heritage Conservation District and heritage designations, this whole idea can pay if you know what's out there. So I appreciate those things, and I think we could use that moving forward.
And yes, and as we move forward with some hopeful new designations, now we have something to offer.
That's right.
The carrot.
Yeah. When does that take effect?
Well, we're moving through the process now, so hopefully, excuse me, in the new year. So in time for 2026 opening of CIP.
And what was the amount you said again for the designated heritage residential?
$10,000, so 50% to a maximum of $10,000.
Okay.
And for commercial properties under program 13, it's maintaining the 85%, just bumping it from 17,000 to 34,000 maximum.
Somebody else want to comment or
Just
ask questions?
just a question.
Go ahead, Klaus.
Marie, when you said about the CIP for restoration of 10,000, widening a doorway or ramp?
So through you, Chair, right now through the through CIP, accessibility means you can widen a front entrance if it doesn't meet building code to 36 inches.
Right.
But sometimes using the main entrance isn't always viable. So we're asking that we be allowed to use a secondary entrance to make it accessible.
Some of the entrances that I know of, the door, they got glass on either side,
Right, the side lights.
the side lights. So if the person says, okay, I'm gonna remove those side lights so I can make this thing 33 inches wide, what happens then?
Well, it's an option. They can do that, but you know, if for other reasons they can't use the primary entrance. For example, if the ramp or the lift or whatever would encroach out onto the sidewalk and be an impediment to snow removal, for example, then they wouldn't be able to use the primary entrance. So what we're suggesting is like at the post office, you know how they've put their accessible entrance around the side, is that we allow that as an eligible program, because right now for accessibility, it's only eligible if the improvements are made at the primary entrance.
Yeah.
And that's just not always feasible.
Well, not that it's only not only feasible, it takes away the integrity of the entire building. The heritage look of it and how it works.
These doors are listed as heritage attributes for sure.
Chris?
So kind of on your note, Claus, if somebody did want to put an accessible entrance, or say they had a door that was 34 inches or 32 inches and they wanted to make it 36 inches, but it's an important part of the building and front entrance, would that be funded, or is that going to be not funded with the design guidelines taken into account?
My understanding is that if it's a heritage attribute, you don't want to modify that, so it would be deferred to a secondary entrance or to a
Excellent.
non-primary entrance.
So kind of, we won't be in that situation of last year,
Right.
which I think is a huge improvement for the CIP.
Yeah. I don't know, I hope it works okay. I just think the whole thing could be a can of worms in some cases. But we'll see. We don't have any applications right now, obviously.
Correct.
So we just have to wait and see.
Another good example of a secondary entrance would be the ramp at Say2 in the Rideau Hotel. But for that one, unfortunately, the ramp got put towards the back. So if you're coming off the street, you got to go all the way to the back of the patio and then all the way up the ramp, which if you've got mobility issues, you're just adding that much more distance. Is there anything that says, I don't know, making it user-friendly or path of least resistance for that kind of stuff? Because if that ramp had pointed towards the street, it'd be about the same, it'd be less walking than if you went in the front entrance. So
I've made a note.
okay. Yeah, I don't know what the wording is for that kind of, is that kind of like designing it for someone that's going to use it? But I think that might have been designed as a delivery ramp for the parking lot of the back. I don't know.
Okay, any more?
Just
Go ahead, Dawn.
in the Davison courtyard, I mean, I know we had more space there to play with, but the front of Full Figure Boutique is not accessible. And if we put a ramp there, it would be on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So we have the courtyard, so that's where the ramp is, and then that gives accessibility to all the businesses that are in there. So you just have to become creative in a lot of those kind of places.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go ahead then with item 3. Marie has a report which was sent out to you for regarding the annual Heritage Symposium. So do you want to speak to that, Marie?
Sure, thank you. The symposium this year focused on residential heritage, and our target audience was homeowners. We had 34 people in attendance, and they were from other MHCs, historical writers and historians, etc. Those in attendance spoke very highly of our symposium and the speakers and the content, noting how timely and newsworthy it was. Participation seems to have leveled off when you look at the chart that I put in there in terms of who's attended and so forth. I'd like to suggest that perhaps you consider pausing the symposium in 2026 And then perhaps the next municipal heritage committee, which elections, of course, are next year, can determine how they want to proceed with the symposium going forward.
Chris?
Yeah, I think like with the municipal election next October, that's kind of the same time as when we do it, and I don't know that we'll get the exposure. There's just people will be paying attention to other stuff, so I'm in agreement.
Jonathan?
Sorry, I'm shocked. I'm not in agreement. I think we could plan one maybe a couple weeks before. I think heritage exists. I think we did a fine job here. I think it really benefited those folks for a really reasonable amount of money. It was really nice exposure. It was my first time on that committee, and I appreciate that I was helped along by Don and Jenny and Marie. I definitely think that this committee, it would serve us to do it again, despite the election, for momentum and continuity.
Somewhere in here, Marie suggested that perhaps we consider a meeting of municipal heritage committees. You did write that in there, didn't you?
That was one of the options.
Right.
Instead of calling it a symposium,
Right.
you could call it a regional meeting.
An Eastern Ontario MHC's meeting where everyone gets an opportunity to update the group on their individual activities and get updates from the Eastern region of the ministry. Excuse me. And I think that's those are the people that come to the symposium. So it's an idea. It's an alternative.
I think the biggest thing I worry about is we just served a handful of folks in this town, specifically about this town, Smith Falls, a bunch of folks working. When we start zooming out into why are we facilitating a provincial organization? I think it looked really nice to be focusing in on Smith Falls real estate, letting our homeowners know exactly what's going on. And like, how many years have you done this yearly? It's been annual for
for quite a long time.
and we're going to stop it now?
Well, attendance has declined every year.
34 people is nothing to.
Yes, but they weren't the target audience. They were not the homeowners that we wanted to have come to the symposium. They were not. That was the problem, and that's why. And the year before, when we focused on the Heritage Conservation District, we tried to get people from the downtown businesses because it was going to affect them, and they didn't come. So yes, it's been successful and it's been interesting, but the people that we've really tried to get to attend have not. And that's part of the problem. Class.
I agree with Marie's suggestions to postpone it for a year. Because the other problem that we've had, and I haven't been involved in it, but I know Dorothy and I have talked about this, trying to get guest speakers.
Yeah.
It's been very difficult. And I mean, but when I say that, this year we had excellent guest speakers, especially the two homeowners. I mean, they stole the show. Those two ladies. So I hate to say we need to take a reprieve on this and wait for another year because it was so successful last year, or this year, sorry. But I don't know. I think it needs to have a rest.
Yeah, we're not. The suggestion is not to never do it again. It's to take next year off. And we did do that last time. There was the municipal election. We did not run a symposium.
Yeah.
At the same time. Chris?
I think too, if there's a group of people that really want to do one next year and have the time and the bandwidth to do it, I wouldn't say no, but I know that I don't have much to contribute to helping put on one next year. So that's where I just, yeah, I don't want to say let's do something that I have nothing to contribute to. So
So one of the things that we talked about was maybe if we don't do the symposium, we could get Doors Open going again in Smith Falls.
We did talk about that.
And Doors Open can be, you know, very popular. Well, Rita Lakes had a fantastic attendance for their Doors Open. But we could be looking at maybe different ideas, like at some of the heritage type properties that we have in Smith Falls, turning them into a spot for people to go, like the wartime houses, you know, and that could generate interest. I think that's what we need to do, is get things going that are going to get people's minds moving and generate some interest. And I'm not saying that has to be the wartime houses, it could be all kinds of things. The Woods Mausoleum, people don't even know where that is. The fantastic turnout they had at the Woods Mausoleum, Doors Open, and people there that I've driven by here. I didn't realize it was here. Oh, isn't this wonderful? So you get people's interest, you get people thinking, and then that could also be part of getting people involved and thinking about what the next symposium could be.
But yes, we have done Doors Open here, but it's been several years since.
That's right.
Do you remember, Chris? It was quite long ago.
it's before my
I would
involvement.
say 10 years ago.
It might be that long, yes. And it was very successful.
Yeah, we had the Davison Courtyard was part of it, and it was just phenomenal. The people that came and they were so interested. Like, what's that great big metal thing out there for? Well, there was somebody there to explain it to them, you know. So you really got those juices moving, people interested, and
When you mentioned during November the 11th, there were several documentaries about the war and so forth. They emphasized an awful lot on the wartime houses being built. There was quite a discussion about that.
Yeah.
So I think every town did that.
Maybe when it comes to our meeting in June or May, June, you know, we could kind of revisit, because Doors Open a spring thing or a summer? Like, what season is
I
that?
think you can have it when you want.
I thought it was June.
They had it last
Is it
time, it was in June.
I thought it was June.
Everybody kind of did it at the same time.
But it over a period of like not everyone doing it on the same weekend kind of thing. But yeah, well, okay, spring then. It requires an awful lot of work though ahead of time. It's
it can't
not.
just be this committee.
No.
No.
Last time we did it, there was a really big committee, and yeah. So I don't know if we could pull something like that off in a couple of months by the spring. I think we'd probably be looking at the next year. Don't you
That seems like a way harder thing to do than hold another symposium in like September.
But when
Anyway,
yes, but
but
one of our mandates is to educate the public about heritage.
yeah. So
And so there are various ways to do that.
sure, there is.
The
Just
symposium is just one of those ways.
indeed.
Jenny?
Thank you. I do not think 35 is like a little group. I think that's a good number of people. I'm not so much concerned with the declining numbers, because I think anybody that we have show up is, you know, worthy of the time to invest in education. But I agree with Jonathan in a sense, because I think it's really important to keep focused on Smith Falls. I like that we are the ones that are doing something in the forefront of that. I also am not opposed to taking a break. I think it might be worth having a look to see if we can focus our energy in another way of education. I like keeping Smith Falls heritage at the forefront, but maybe there's a different way to do it. Not necessarily a better, because I think the symposium has been successful, even for 35 people, but there might be just a different way to do things. So I'm not opposed to taking a break in 2026.
Okay. Yes?
Maybe a speaker series would be like, I don't know, every twice a year or something, if we had a like a 7 to 9 kind of talk, and there's no food. There's, you know what I mean? We just have to, if we had a good speaker, if somebody came across a really good speaker at a conference or about or day-to-day stuff, then we could line something up like that, which would be a middle ground. But I agree with Jenny that it's a great thing. It's also a lot of work.
Jonathan?
Yeah, I guess the way that it could go here, and especially as you're saying, like if it's common practice to skip the election year, I'd definitely be satisfied with saying something like MHC will defer the symposium for the following year with the municipal election in mind.
Mhm.
Just period. And then everything else that we're discussing is a whole separate anything that really doesn't need to have anything to do with this motion. But we're kind of just establishing we're not going to start planning for next year's symposium because of the election. And then in a separate line of our thoughts, we're going to do some other stuff in between, hopefully, if we can.
Okay, well,
Is that right?
I guess we were brainstorming about other ways that we can
Yeah.
provide education about heritage, and we have good ideas.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But yes, you're right. Specifically with regards to the symposium, in the report, there are 3 options there. We can decide to defer it, and then the next MHC, because when the elections roll around, the MHC is disbanded and new applications come in. So the next MHC could determine the frequency going forward, or we could continue to have it anyway, or we could, option 3, hold the symposium or another event at a different interval. So that's kind of covered the things that we were talking about.
I wanted to push forward that the symposium continues, the Smiths Falls Focus Symposium continues after this deferral, would be my recommendation.
Right, but we can't dictate what the next
Oh, we can
committee
recommend.
does. We can recommend,
Yeah.
but yes, we can recommend that we defer the symposium for 2026, and that the newly appointed Municipal Heritage Committee,
We will defer for 26. We recommend that they carry on.
we recommend that the new MHC, well, we can recommend that the new MHC continue with the symposium, but
They could do
they
what they
don't,
wish.
yeah.
May not want to.
I don't-
Indeed, it would be
yeah.
their choice.
I mean, if we stick within our mandate, we would say that we're suspending it for 2026, and, okay? So,
So
shall
that's the motion.
we make that motion? I sounded a bit garbled there. We're having option 1.
Got it.
We recommend that the Annual Heritage Symposium be deferred for 2026, and the next MHC can consider and decide what kind of public education initiatives they wish to
So
pursue.
do you want to add, is all of that a part of the motion too, that second part? Or is that?
You have a choice. You can either make the motion to just simply defer for 2026 and end it there, or you could make another motion that defers 2026 and make a recommendation that the new MHC continue to have the symposium, or they look at whether or not it's viable to continue having the
I think
symposium.
the first one is simplest, and then just leave it.
So just defer.
So just to defer.
Okay.
Yeah,
At the symposium, I didn't get the sense that that was going to be the last one.
yeah,
For
neither did
whatever
I.
reason, and maybe that's just my heart speaking, but I didn't get the sense that it was over forever.
No.
No.
I don't
I'm not
think
suggesting
So we're just deferring it for 1 year.
Yes.
Sweet.
Okay, got it. Defer for
shall we
2026
vote?
period.
It's a
Yes.
motion,
So we need first, second, and a
yeah,
vote, please.
so who's going to move it? Okay. Class, Jonathan moves, Class seconds. So all in favor of deferring
Right, thank you.
for 1 year? Okay, the next item is properties of interest. We have anything to report?
I just wanted to let you know that I have everybody's information. Thank you very much for submitting that, and I'll take the next few weeks and maybe longer to do up the report, because it will be the form of a draft bylaw. I'm not sure I'll be able to have that done in time for December, so I'll probably shoot for January.
In the form of a draft, one draft bylaw? No,
No,
A whole bunch.
a whole bunch of
yeah, for each of them.
Don't
So
we
looking
have
at
to, don't we have to meet with the owners first?
Well, it's just going to be the content of it. You won't be voting on the actual bylaw. It's just the content.
Chris?
Maybe could we do one a month, or I just think
Sure.
of when we did the bylaw updates, we put them all through at the same time, and like they're not. I think the consultant got away with a lot of stuff because we were just trying to do too much in too short of a time. So I don't know if there's a rush if we're trying to get it pushed through before the end of the term, but
How many are there altogether?
There's 10, and it's just that we're on timeline for January 2027.
Yeah, we
Because
are.
we have to either designate them or move them off the list by January 2027. I can stagger it.
Yes,
Look at staggering it.
maybe, yeah, one a month would take too long, but we could do
2 a month.
two or three perhaps. And then you wouldn't have to do it all at once either, would you?
How many do we got? How many are we looking at? Do we
Three
have
says 10.
10? Just 10 total.
Okay.
And then when we finish that, when we get to the end of that project, we can talk about adding new properties to the list. When we're ready to do so, because they can only be on there for 2 years. Okay, do we have any project updates? All right, round table. Dawn?
Nothing.
Jenny? Klaus?
No.
Jonathan? Chris? Marie?
It's
Oh,
easy.
yes.
Around.
Well, I'll ask. How's the bridge coming along?
Yes, the famous bridge.
Yeah.
Have they got the roof on there yet?
No,
I'm cautiously optimistic about the old bridge materials that have been saved. From what I've heard is that they've been sandblasted and repainted, and they're ready to be installed on footings in the spring.
what was that, Chris? I couldn't hear you.
Sorry, you know how we saved sections of the old truss? So Paul's got those sandblasted and painted and ready to be installed. I don't know until I actually see it. You know, I'm a little bit. I don't know how much.
That's great. Yeah,
How much
because
is there?
the idea was to make a pedestal that's different using those materials, right?
Well, I think
Possibly one on each side of it.
from my understanding is there's 2 truss pieces that will be lined up on either side on the cenotaph side. But don't
Okay.
hold me to that. But it's all been verbal, so I don't know until you know what I mean. It's there and it's in. I'm nervous, but it's sounding like it should be good.
So have you talked to Paul lately?
This
Have
was
they
just the
decided-
chit chat while we waited for the bridge to lift. Yeah,
Have you decided what they're doing with the steel?
I think. I don't know.
And the reason I'm asking is because it came in the wrong color.
Oh,
So, and it almost looked like that.
Oh, lovely.
No.
And I'm not sure that's the color that should be on the roof. He was hoping for something like a taupe or something, had a little bit of brown in there, you know. So I'm not sure what they were doing with
But
that.
haven't they started putting the roof on there now, though?
Not the steel.
Oh,
I don't
just the
think
wood.
they've started the steel.
They've just been putting the wood slats on.
To the restoration end too. Did everyone notice Big Brothers Big Sisters big production?
Yeah.
It's no longer blue.
Yeah.
And got it out with a bunch of grinders.
how
Sandblasted.
Is that sandblasting?
What was it? Painted brick?
It was
Yeah.
painted brick.
And they removed the paint?
They've removed the, yep.
Yeah, they sandblasted the whole brick.
Did they get a CIP? Okay.
we'll see.
That's what it looks like.
Sandblasting.
Yeah, drive by it. Check it out. It's a
Yeah.
big topic of what we talk
Because
about.
sandblasting isn't great for brick, is it? But maybe it's not as bad as paint. I don't know.
Well, it's the only way you're gonna get paint off
Yeah,
of there.
yeah.
It's second last.
Yeah.
It depends on how much pressure they use on it, that's, you know.
Yeah. Well, there's soda blasting, there's sandblasting, there's water, there's acid treatments.
Yeah,
Mm.
We'll see how the brick
I might have
goes.
used amic acid, I don't know, but that's tricky.
Don't know.
But I think the thing with that building is I don't think it's. I thought it was kind of 1950s era, that facade.
Oh, yeah, it's just
Which maybe the brick, like it wasn't. It's not the old brick where it's got the hard surface on the outside and soft on the inside. Maybe it's just it's the same consistency all the way through. So they're grinding it off, kind
I
of.
can tell just by driving by. Who owns the building?
Big brothers, big
Maybe they
sisters.
do own
But in 10 years, we'll know.
it. Yeah,
And speaking of saved materials, the stone from the water treatment plant. Do you know?
yeah.
where it is.
Where is it, Chris? Your house?
Do you know? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I think it's being stored at a quarry.
So we do have it, because it was in that. Some of it was in that parking lot for a while, but I don't think it's there anymore now. Have they finished that work on the stabilization or whatever they were doing?
Just the railing or the fence needs to go up last. And there was some debate over whether to make it black or whether it to be galvanized, and I'm hoping it's black.
So
Just
they
to,
cleaned everything out of the basement of it?
I'm not, yeah, the work was completed as contracted, I'll say.
Okay. So it's finished. Whatever they needed to take it all away and then make it safe. Was that what? Okay. And
The
is
town still owns it.
It's a town asset.
The stone?
No, the property.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and the stone that's been
And the
stored,
stone,
right? Whatever stone.
I hope so. I don't.
Who else could?
yeah. That stone's worth a fortune.
Yeah, I just, you know how these things go.
Yeah.
Like originally the pedestals of the stone for the new bridge were supposed to be made with the stone from the old mill, and that got changed. So I think it's going to be a challenge. Anybody that uses the old stone, there's going to be a premium on it to recycle it. So it's going to have to take somebody to make that decision at some point, or council to make that decision at some point, or it's just going to sit in a pile and probably get crushed.
Well, my hope was that somehow it would be used in some way in whatever gets built there. Like you think about an atrium with like indoor, but with some of that stone making part of the wall kind of thing. But
So one of the, and I'm sure this isn't for the whole public to know, but we're sitting in this.
Careful what's going on the internet.
They have, the company, Structurecraft, have suggested that if we decide we're taking the old water tower down, that could be a really nice area to build an amphitheater out of the same material as the bridge. Now there could be a really good use for the stone to be the front on any structure there that's holding that up, you know. So I think they are looking at ways that it can be used. So I don't think it's just going to go away. But I think
You've got a great idea there, because that's a perfect spot for an amphitheater, and there's large enough stone that can be used for a row of seating and another row. If you go to Prescott, they built an outdoor amphitheater there, and that's what they did. They built it into a hill, and they built stone walls. They're wide enough you can walk on them and put a lawn chair on it, or just sit on the stone. Used all the old material.
so,
that would be
so there
excellent.
could be ways that they could use it. I don't think it's just going to get discarded.
I think that brings up a good point of the water tower, which I don't think is a decided thing to come down, but it is a decision that I think is going to be coming up soon. So maybe we want to add that to our next agenda, because I think the MHC should take a position on it and maybe do some advocacy for it if we're looking to save it. And if the HCD's passed, it'll be interesting to see how it'd be potentially the first demolition in the HCD. So,
It lies within the boundary, does it not? Yeah.
but I think it's something where it'd be really good to hear from the community if the community feels strongly about keeping it, if the committee feels strongly about keeping it, because I think there's a lot of examples in Ontario where it's a lot easier to keep them up if they're not full of water. And if we could find somebody that wanted to paint it for us, then, for a minimal cost, we get to keep a landmark that's been there for over 100 years. So
You said minimal cost. Minimal. So we'd want to know what the cost is.
Are we still using it? Or is the new
yeah,
one?
we're still using it
is
right
the
now.
new- When does the new one?
December the 10th.
So
It's
very
supposed
soon
to
then.
be.
Yeah. As long as nothing bad happens, right?
You got the pumps running, filling it now?
That they're gradually working. Slowly, I should say.
But Chris, if I may, to save the old water tower, how are you going to secure it that it can be safe?
Secure it in what sense?
Nobody climb it.
Well, nobody can climb it now, right?
Yes,
No.
definitely people have climbed it. We had an awful time when we used to do the festival down there. We had to have the police there all the time. There's always somebody going up it.
We'll figure some way to get up there.
Yes.
That would be my only concern. There's lots of people who climb that thing.
Yeah. I guess the thing is does it have value as a landmark? Is it an iconic landmark of Smith Falls? But I think this is something probably deserves its own agenda item and discussion. But yeah, like there's lots of things in town that, how do you keep people from going into buildings and setting fires in them? How do you keep
Yeah.
people from,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's just, that wouldn't, but
If they keep it, what kind of a logo are they going to put up there? The Smith Falls logo or the Hershey one or the Tweed logo?
if Hershey's wants to pay to paint it, I'd be happy to let them have the
Logo
space
back up
again.
there. I think they probably would be willing to repaint it. Put their logo back up there.
The former chocolate capital of Ontario.
If there's an opportunity like that that keeps the cost down for the town but keeps
Yeah.
it up for 10 years, then why not? I don't know.
Well, I think they should be looking at some kind of corporate sponsorship towards that.
Well, that was a very interesting roundtable.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, from no comments.
I don't think the town needs that extra expense.
Yes, but you're right. We should talk about it. We'd be proactive, right?
Yep.
Because something will happen to it. It won't just sit there forever in the condition it's in now, will it?
Yeah, it needs a coat of paint.
Yeah.
Before somebody takes a chainsaw to it and see if it'll fall over.
Okay, so our next meeting is Tuesday, December the 9th. Same time, same place. Would someone move that we adjourn? Chris moves. Klaus seconds. All in favor? Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Just let tech